This could possibly be seen as a rant, so fair warning. Now, this problem that I call my Marvel problem could technically be considered a Star Wars problem, because that's how it started. To put it in perspective, I am somebody who enjoys the original 6 Star Wars films, or the Star Wars saga as it was called before Disney bought it. I don't see excuse me, any difference in quality between episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I find the goofiness that is in 1 through 3 was also in 4 through 6. And when dealing with people online and reviewers bashing episodes 1 through 3 for what I saw to be no reasons, it made me start looking at 4 through 6 and finding every flaw that was wrong with it. Not going to bring up examples of this because this is not a Star Wars problem, this is a Marvel problem. But it led to me also doing the same thing with Marvel. Now, the MCU has been around for obviously 10 years, and the fanboys of the MCU hate any movie that's a comic book movie that does not have to do with Marvel, with extreme rare examples being like The Dark Knight, because everybody loves that film, when it's okay. It's more of a crime drama than a comic book movie. But that's the point. I don't really see the difference between the DC and Marvel films. That made me point out it makes me look at the crappiness that is the MCU's films. It's like, look at the Avengers. Most of the film, you're waiting for something to happen. Think about it. And people have criticized it over the years, but when it first came out, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, no, it's not. Joss Whedon is the worst director in Marvel's history, in my opinion. He can't write Hulk. He took a script that had Hulk being basically the bad guy for the first half of the film until they tamed him. And he added in some mind control crap from Loki. He can't write Hawkeye. He proved he can't write Black Widow with Age of Ultron. Oh crap! Because they were setting up Black Widow and Hawkeye throughout the whole thing with little minor things. With even the actors were shipping them when you looked at it, and they thought they were together, because if you look at the interviews and that with that got not Clint Barton, Jeremy Renner and Chris Evans in trouble with Black Widow. Wait a minute, I thought she was dating me, and then then she started dating me. Now she's doing Mark Ruffalo. Man, what a slut! That comment, because even they thought that she was with Hawkeye, because she even wore a little arrow necklace. The costume designers gave her that as a thing to show Hawkeye around her neck. But after that, it's like Iron Man 3. The entire plot of Iron Man 3 destroys what the purpose of Iron Man 2 was. If he could just take it out with surgery, how come in the first, even Iron Man 1, if he could take it out with surgery, why did he bother going through the thing of cutting a huge hole in his chest and putting an arc reactor in there? Why did he bother creating a new element when he could have just had some surgeons take the pieces out? It's pointless. And then you have to deal with then you have Infinity War. Everybody's saying it's the greatest film ever and all that kind of crap, when there's no stakes whatsoever in this one or the next one, Endgame, when you think about it. Because before this one even came out, Infinity War, Disney had already said, we're making a Black Panther sequel, we're making a Doctor Strange sequel, and Spider-Man has a sequel that's already in the works being made. And there were set photos leaked from the set of Tom Holland under the mask, obviously, and he quote unquote died in Infinity War. And all these characters who died are actually dead. No, they're not. And then you had the debacle of Guardians of the Galaxy. They were talking about how there's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and James Gunn, and that debacle of him being a pedophile, and Dave Bautista, the guy that plays Drax, saying, "Oh, I don't want to do it if he's not going to be directing." Well, you're dead. You died in Infinity War. Kevin Feige said you're dead. But no, he's not. They're going to reverse it all because it's Marvel. There's no stakes. There's no nothing. We know exactly what's going to happen. So everybody who quote-unquote died in Infinity War are already guaranteed to come back to life because the next movie's in the franchise. Marvel has the problem of, we want to set up the next 20 films, but then, okay, if we know that there's going to be Infinity War and all that after Civil War, obviously the big stake of, is Captain America going to be killed by Iron Man? No, because Chris Evans' contract ain't up yet. And Marvel had the gall to lie and say, yes, these characters are dead. DC didn't do that. Well, until Joss Whedon took over. We've already established Joss Whedon is a lousy writer and director. DC, Superman was dead in Batman vs. Superman, but then you saw the dirt start rising up from his grave. In the original Justice League shooting script and everything, there was none of that crap of Superman's body being taken to the crashed ship and being brought back to life like Zod was. That was Joss Whedon's stupid idea. It was also his idea to have Flash fall in Wonder Woman's breast. But, you know, he's a huge feminist. And that's what made people, even the people who love DC, his movie was what made people turn against it. Not many people like Justice League. I mean, I liked it when I first saw it, but on a second viewing when I got it at home media, I didn't really like it that much. So that's why you'll never really hear me say anything about Marvel, because when I watch those films, all I do is look for the flaws now. Because somebody has to. It's like Infinity War. I actually watched because it didn't come out in America first, it came out in other countries. So I watched other people's reviews first. I watched the, what culture reviews, and that kind of stuff. They're spoiler ones because I didn't really give two fucks about and Thanos demands your silence. Fuck that shit. If you can't tell that crap has no stakes, just from if you watch the Nerdist videos, if you watch the Disney Direct things, if you watch anything about movies and TV shows, you would already know that these characters are not going to die, that they are coming back, because Disney's already announced this crap. They've already said what directors they had and what writers they have for these films, and these actors are going to be in it. And it's going to take place after Infinity War. So, Thanos demands your silence is a bunch of fucking garbage to anybody with a brain cell. But I digress. So I didn't care about any of that, so I wanted the movie spoiled, because honestly, I had no plans to actually see it until it hit rental for $1. But then, I saw a link on YouTube. Avengers Infinity War, full movie. And I was thinking, okay, this has to be like a 2-hour and something long Rickroll. So I clicked it because I thought it might be funny. It was the actual movie. It was an actual canned version of the movie. So I watched it. Because why the hell not? And all I saw was the crap in it. It's like that scene from the trailer, the big epic scene of Spider-Man with his new suit laying on the bridge. Ruined because that stupid comedy gag. You're at 5 seconds. Not even. They don't even give it any time to be the epic moment to end. It's just, boom, instantly, gag. Him being thrown back to Earth on the stupid parachute. And the suits, CGI, holy crap. People talk about how bad the CGI is in Star Wars episodes 1 through 2 and 3, but they have the excuse of they were inventing the technology. That technology did not exist until Lucasfilm actually went there and invented that technology. An ILM. So, obviously, it's not going to look the greatest. But we've had films like Avatar and all the other films with the CGI that looks real, and Marvel, I think, like, spends the least amount of money on their CGI, because that Iron Spider suit, PlayStation 1 error, that's how bad it looked. And you have that, how Mark Ruffalo's head looked inside the Hulkbuster. God, it was like crap. And no one was saying anything. And then the meme started about the quote-unquote dusting, or the snapping, or whatever they call it, because, that's what all dumb places like Nerdist and all of them are call it. And how bad it looked. Like, holy crap, it looked like shit. But all these idiots were saying, oh, it's so shit! These morons are coming back to life. It's pointless. This is stupid. I laughed my fucking ass off when that scene was going on. Because it's a complete fake-out death. The movie should have been called Avengers Fake-Out Death. Because it's literally just a huge fake-out death. It's, oh, we got you. They're not actually dead. But yet these idiots have the gall to go around and say, these are the greatest movies ever. It's like, the last Marvel film I saw in theaters and I would ever see in theaters is Spider-Boy Homecoming. Because, he's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man's an adult. A man's an adult, not a high school kid. Spider-Man was only in high school for the first 24 issues of his comic book. After that, he went to college and became an adult. Because, kids grow up. But, they wanted to have a little child in there so the kids could have a hero to look up to. And, you see kids walking around in Captain America costumes and Batman costumes, Hulk costumes, Superman costumes, Wonder Woman, Supergirl. All these characters are adults. Or at least in their 20s in the case of Supergirl. So, yeah, they don't need a boy. They don't need a child superhero. So that's just garbage to think that. I went on that little rant, and I honestly forgot what I was talking about. Oh well, no big deal. But anyway, when you go back to Infinity Snore, they ripped off the Phantom Menace's ending, which also became a big meme. With it literally being just the Wakanda scene is the Naboo Gungans scene versus the droids. And the funny thing is, there was also a battle in space going on when that was happening. So technically, instead of just being ships, it was them fighting the big purple guy. Who, instead of just snapping and making the universe's resources get bigger, he decided to kill everybody. Typical generic bad guy. But he's the greatest comic book villain ever! No, he's not. It's garbage. Then you have all these people crying at that horribly CGI. It's like, you could tell Holland was in a green suit, in that Iron Spider suit. Because how horrible it looked when he was hugging on to Tony, and his head was just, you could tell, his head looked like it was floating, and the suit wasn't actually there. And sadly, I own Infinity War, because I said that I would buy it if I found the Target exclusive, and I did. When I went there, it was like one of the last ones that was there. It wasn't one of, it actually was the last one that was there. Man on my word type thing. So I bought it, and I opened it for the review. You can see it on this, and I never watched it. And it's on Netflix. And I have thought about, I could watch Infinity War. Nope, found something else to watch. Like tonight. I could watch Infinity War. Nope, I recorded 2 YouTube videos. Why? Because there's better things to do with my time. The movie's pointless. You know exactly what's going to happen next. It's like prequels, you have the excuse of, okay, it's a prequel. Duh, you obviously know what's going to happen next. These movies are going concurrently, and you know what's going to happen next. What's the point? It's like Marvel. It's like Captain Marvel, or Shazam, I should say. We know that that's a prequel movie, so obviously it gets a little leeway. You know she's not going to die, nothing's going to happen to her, because she's going to be in Endgame. And like, you know, nothing's going to happen to Nick Fury. It's just, okay, he'll probably lose his eye. I'll show you how he lost his eye. Nothing happened to Coulson because he dies, in quotations, in the first Avengers. And then he comes back to life for the Agents of Boredom. I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. God, that show fucking sucks. I don't care. It gets better. If you have to watch 20 episodes, you have to spend 20 hours watching something before it to get better. You just wasted 20 hours of your fucking life. Anyways. So, Endgame, there's no point in watching Infinity War. To watch that one, because you know what's going to... Actually, there's no point in watching Endgame, because you know what's going to happen. Both Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., I almost said Tony Stark, haha. Both their contracts are up. This is their last film. And Chris Evans even went on Twitter and said it's his last day filming on a Marvel film. He had so much fun, and he loves the fans and everything. Yeah, it's his last movie. He's either going to A, die, or B, quit. Or that stupid thing, C, they used a time stone to send him back to World War II, seeing love of his life of Peggy. Which would make Agent Carter be erased from existence because he's not with her in that movie, in that TV show. But anyways, there's just no point. And people say how great these films are. I don't care. If anything, if you think about these films, they're pointless. I mean, movies are pointless, but the stories, they're pointless to watch them because you know what's going to happen. And it's not a prequel. It's a concurrent story. And the sad thing is, I used to love these films. I used to be so upset when I missed seeing a Marvel film in theaters because I didn't have access to a car. I couldn't get there by myself. I didn't have a job. Blah, 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 blah. I was upset when I didn't get to see one. And now, I purposely miss them. I will see them if I find them sailing the seven seas. That's the only way. Or they're in a dollar rental thing. And people keep saying how great it is. I want to watch it for myself so I can bash it, basically. Because you shouldn't say something's crap without watching it. It's like the people that hate the My Little Pony show and never watch it. Watch a couple episodes so you can see how stupid it is. You can't say you hate something unless you've actually seen it. Because you never seen it. How do you know you hate it? It's like the Geeks and Gamers guy always saying how he doesn't like the 2016 Ghostbusters and he's never going to watch it. You're never going to watch it. How do you know you hate it? He's admitted he likes films like Wolverine and Superman 3 and 4. You can love the Ghostbusters 2016 for all you know. Don't say you hate something and you don't watch it or you don't read it. It's like, oh, I hate Twilight. Did you read it? No, I don't need to read it. Did you watch the movies? I don't need to watch it. They're stupid. Well, you should at least watch the first one or try to. I mean, they're on TV all the time on the channels with commercials. You don't really need to, you're not going to pay anything. Or the entire 5 films in a Walmart $5 bin. If you don't like it, you could sell it afterwards. So watch one, and if you hate it that badly, then hey, you can honestly say, I hate that series. The first one was garbage, why would I watch the other ones? It's like, another side note, funny. When I went and saw Spider-Boy in theaters, because I was literally dragged there by my parents because they thought it was something I'd want to do and want to see. They didn't tell me what we were doing. They just told me, hey, we're going out. I went out with them, and they took me to that boring-ass fucking movie. I fell asleep during it. I fell asleep when Peter was in a warehouse thing talking to the robot in his suit. And I didn't wake up. And when I woke up, he was on an airplane. I have never watched that movie since. He was on an airplane fighting the Vulture. He was outside of one and fighting him. I've never seen that, whatever came in between, because I just fell asleep. I fell asleep during Civil War, and I feel horrible about going to see that movie in theaters, because I saw it on my last trip to Disney Quest. If you Google what it was a huge arcade that Disney had in downtown in Orlando. I did a trip with my brother just to go to downtown, just to do the Disney Quest one last time, and how boring that fucking movie was. I would have rather spent those 2 hours in the arcade making better memories than going to that theater, even though the tickets are free, because I bought the bags of Skittles for the tickets. And it's horrible that I saw that movie in theaters. I just feel horrible about doing it. I would have rather have had those hours in Disney Quest than to see that stupid movie, how crappy it was. But that's back when I was still trying to talk myself into, oh, you have to like these films. There's no way you can't like them. Everyone else is saying how great these movies are. There's nothing wrong with you that you don't like these movies. No, there's nothing wrong with me. The movies are garbage. I'm just the one that can see it. And these idiots who are doing this thing now, attacking Captain Marvel, there is no quality difference between Captain Marvel and the other Marvel solo films. And maybe not the first two, Hulk and Iron Man, but the other ones, Thor and Captain America, I don't see any difference in quality, or Doctor Strange. I can't say Black Panther because I have not watched it, because I do own it. I got it on Black Friday, but I'm saving it for that stupid Road to Endgame thing that I'm doing on Instagram, where you review a Marvel film a week until Endgame comes out. Which, if you look at it, you can tell I like certain ones, but I hate other ones. So I'm saving Black Panther for that. Because, with the identity politics surrounding the film, I hear the film's fine, but all these idiots are putting all this crap on the film that I don't honestly want to care about watching it. I've had the opportunity to watch it. I own it. It's on Netflix. But I don't feel like watching it because all the crap surrounding the movie. So that's a chair, if you hear squeaking and that kind of stuff. But Captain Marvel looks like the same quality film as all the other ones. It looks better than Homecoming, from the trailers at least. But all these people, like in the quote-unquote fandom menace, are all saying how bad this movie looks. And it's like the Clownfish TV people are saying how bad this movie looks, when it looks exactly the same as the other Marvel films. Maybe your eyes are finally opening up, and you're seeing that these movies are crap. You're finally seeing that these movies are garbage. It just took you to have a woman as the lead to see that, or to have the identity politics thrown in there for you to see that, because they're pissed off at the fact that they had the her and hero thing shine out. But if you looked at all the other words, the letters were coming out the same way. So it's just how they did it. And yeah, the her story thing and hero story, I get that. It's a little dopey. But all the Marvel films are dopey. Think about it. Guardians of the Galaxy. Even though I liked the first one, the second one was trash. The second one was complete fucking trash. I feel horrible that I saw that movie in theaters. But the first one, it opened up with Star-Lord literally dancing to an oldies song while listening to a Walkman and singing while holding on to a lizard creature. That's not dopey to you? They turned Thor into a comedy. Obviously it works. People love Ragnarok. And Ragnarok was made because Disney doesn't want to share money with Universal. Because Universal owns the rights to solo Hulk films. Disney ain't getting that back unless they buy Universal, because there's nothing in their contract about you have to make a movie at this certain point. So why would they? It's like Kevin Feige even asked him, what Mark Ruffalo, what would you want to do with a Hulk sequel? Well, we're going to do that with these films, so you don't need a sequel. You don't need a solo film to yourself, because if Norton had stayed, Hulk would have been the bad guy in Avengers, at least in the first half, probably mind-controlled by Loki. And then Age of Ultron, he would have went psycho like he did and left the planet, and then it would have been World War Hulk, or it would have been, probably would have been Planet Hulk, then World War Hulk. Would have been his solo second and his solo third. Because he wanted those more mature films, more violent films, as you saw his, you can look at his film, it's more mature than the other Marvel films, and then you can look at his comments at the roast of Bruce Willis about how, I wanted to make one Marvel film as good as the worst Christopher Nolan film. Ha ha ha. Well, let's see, okay. If you want to know about the films, I mean, people probably don't care. The first Iron Man I saw in theaters. Hulk, I did not see in theaters. I wanted to, I just didn't. And then when I got it on DVD, rental from a Publix, I watched it, and I've regretted never seeing that movie in theaters ever since. It's my favorite MCU film. Iron Man 2, saw it in theaters. Captain America, saw it in theaters. Thor, did not see it in theaters. Ended up seeing it on YouTube in 2 parts. Avengers, saw it in theaters, sadly. Now, that film, I actually lied to myself saying I must like this film. Something must be wrong with me. I was blinding myself to the fact that, the first couple scenes are boring. I'm getting out of a car, so that's going to be a noise you're going to hear. Iron Man 3, saw it in theaters. God-awful film, boring as hell, stupid, pointless. You could literally skip that film of an MCU watch-a-thon. You won't miss a thing, because the next time you see Tony, he has a fucking arc reactor in his chest again. Winter Soldier. Saw it in theaters. The last Marvel film, one of the last Marvel films I actually really enjoyed, and I gave an A to. Thor 2, did not see it in theaters. Age of Ultron. Sadly, I saw it in theaters. That movie was boring as hell. Civil War, sadly, as I said, saw it in theaters. Ant-Man, saw it in theaters. I actually liked the film. Ant-Man and the Wasp, did not see it in theaters. Thor Ragnarok, was offered a free ticket to go see that movie. Turned it down, did not see it in theaters. Infinity War, did not see it in theaters. Was offered twice to go see it in the theaters. I was even offered a free ticket on opening night to go see the movie on theaters. Turned it down. I stayed home. Doctor Strange, did not see it in theaters. Black Panther, obviously, like I said, did not see it in theaters. I think that's all the MCU films. Because it was the Iron Man trilogy, the Hulk trilogy, the Captain America trilogy. Or not Hulk trilogy. Captain America trilogy, Thor trilogy. Hulk, obviously, the Ant-Man 2. The Avengers trilogy. And Strange and Panther. So, okay. Those are the films I saw in theaters and did not see in theaters. For those. So, I didn't really see a lot of them. And I was buying all of them because I thought, in a little while, because, the completionist thing, but some of them don't even watch. Like, they're sitting there in their plastic still. Some of them I opened because I wanted the digital copy. So, I might want to watch it later. I never have. But, to go back to the main topic, my quote-unquote problem with these things are, these people are talking about how these films are the greatest things ever, when there are films that are literally the same quality as the ones they're talking about, and then they're bitching about them, saying how stupid it is. Or they're complaining about how, those films you gotta think, and these films are, I get that movies were made because you're stupid, because you want to just turn your brain off and watch. And I get it, those films are nice, like Hurricane Heist. You don't need to think during that movie. It's a dopey action film. But you admit that those movies aren't good. You don't try to tell people how these are the best films of the year, like the Marvel fanboys say, Infinity War is the best film of 2018. It wasn't. There's a hell of a lot better films out there than that. Searching was better than Infinity War. Hell, Aquaman was better than Infinity War. Aquaman felt like a good comic book movie. And that's not just because I like DC. Because you look at the stupid Snups account that I have, I actually had more Marvel shit before I started hating it. And my DC stuff still doesn't count up to it. So I love Marvel more than DC. Then they started giving away the characters' names and like, oh, that's not really... Peter Parker isn't Spider-Man. Anybody can be Spider-Man. Anybody can be Thor. It's not... But it has his actual name. I mean, I get that, like, anybody be Captain America because it's a code name. It's not his actual name. But Thor was his actual bloody freaking birth name. And they gave it to somebody else. I don't care that it was Jane. They could have given it to a guy. I wouldn't have cared. Thor is his fucking name. And that was just stupid. I get the whole, anybody who holds it, if they're worthy, has the power of Thor. That's the power of Thor. You're not actually Thor. It should have just called Jane Thunder Goddess or something else. I'm getting back in a car. So that's when I started not liking Marvel, when they started giving people's names away. But before that, I was a huge Marvel fanboy. I was trying to say, there's no way in hell you hate these films. You can't hate these films. You have to love these things. The first thing I noticed I didn't like was S.H.I.E.L.D. because I tried to watch the first episode and I couldn't. I quit halfway through it. It was that fucking boring. Although I will say, the Netflix shows, the ones that I watched, were good. I'm one of the few people that liked Iron Fist. I liked Luke Cage. I loved Daredevil's trilogy of series. And I liked The Defenders. No, I have not watched Jessica Jones because her character is she's a drunk. That's all you need to know. The Defenders kind of did her perfectly well. So there's no need to watch her show because, okay, she's a drunk who, somebody who with mind control powers, I think raped her. Or used her powers for his own, and then decided to get drunk. Okay, so she's a woman that has some super strength and stuff, but she's not bulletproof like Luke Cage, and she's a private eye. Big deal. I don't need to force myself to watch those episodes because I got enough for in the Defenders. It's like with DC. I like Supergirl when she's into crossovers, but I don't need to watch her show. And it's not because she's a woman. It's just I don't need to watch her show. But those shows, they've all gone downhill drastically. It's like, holy crap. It's like, Arrow was good for 3 seasons. Flash was good for 2. Legends of Tomorrow was good for 1. Gotham was okay from the start and never really had like a really great season like the other shows did. Can't say about Black Lightning because I haven't watched it. I was actually waiting to get it on like Black Friday, but so I could binge watch it, but but it didn't get them Black Friday. So, oh well. Supergirl, I have it, but I never watched it. But I quote unquote represent it all the time. When I was working at Walmart, I needed a jacket, but didn't have a hood. And the Supergirl jacket from her universe had the little cape thing on it back to, it would turn the hood into a cape. So it would hide the hood, because if I wasn't in the freezer, I couldn't wear it. So I bought that. And that's a jacket I wear around most of the time. So I quote unquote represent it all the time. And on Snups and places like that, I was using her as an icon. But I'd never actually seen the show. I've seen people review the show, but I don't watch it. I've also never watched Smallville or the original 90s Flash show that's now connected to the Arrowverse. Excuse me. Now we're getting on the DC. So I think this rant has gone on long enough. I'm going to tell you all have a nice day. Remember, this is just an opinion. You clicked it. So don't get all offended in the comment section below about how could you hate them? They're the greatest things ever. When the video literally said my problem with Marvel in the title, and it's the only image, so it's going to be the card as well. So you clicked it, you listened to it. Don't go off in the comments because you clicked it. You didn't have to. You could have watched something else. Have a good one. Special side note, while watching this stupid film on Netflix, I realized another dumb thing. I mean, this isn't my original review, but I forgot about it until I started watching this crap. Iron Man tells Hulk at the beginning of the movie when they're inside the stupid Doctor Strange house that, oh, the Avengers are no more, we broke up. And he can't even talk to Tony, even though the world's being destroyed. And then, like 20 minutes later, or however long it is, he tells Peter, you're an Avenger now. Who gives a fuck? You just said the Avengers are no more. That's like saying you're a fish and there's no water. Nah, stupid. That's like saying you're in the band, but you can't play an instrument and you can't sing. Who gives a fuck? That's just a little side note. It's like, who cares if you're an Avenger now? You literally tell everybody that the Avengers are nothing, that they don't exist. That's like telling a kid that Santa Claus doesn't exist, and then 5 seconds later, you want to be Santa's little helper? You just said Santa doesn't exist. That's a good one. Now I have a good one. I'll get back to watching the garbage. Because why the hell not? I got nothing better to do. It's 3:42 a.m. and I still have to be at work until 6.